We're going live. Yep, we're going live. Maureen Baker here. It's been a while. Yep, I haven't been live on Thankful Thursday for a while, but it's good to be back. You know, life gets complicated and it gets in the way. Spring is coming though, and that makes me very happy. Yep, the flowers are gonna start popping through, and that makes me happy too. So I thought that it would be fun to start up Thankful Thursdays again. I do have to tell you that after this week, we're going to start at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 3 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock 2 o'clock Mountain Time. Can't forget the mountain region. And 1 o'clock Pacific Time. And it's going to be fun. All right, so I am ready to go, and I am going to flip you down. I'm working between cameras. I do have a new camera that I'm going to be able to operate from a clicker thing, but I haven't got it set up yet. So I went back to my Logitechs, which have great pictures. I have to tell you, they have great pictures. But I have to make you a little dizzy to start painting with you. Okay, so here we go. And there we are. And we're going to just focus in. Nope, wrong way. Here we go. Oh, and that's upside down. So I am definitely going to make you dizzy. There. Yeah, I have to get used to this thing again. That's all right. It's a great camera. I do like it. Here we go. And we have a nice... Okay, we do have... Hi, Terry. How are you, dear? We have a nice lighthouse that we're going to be doing today. Okay, I am working in traditions. And I think that's good. Let me roll up. That's good. Okay, it's a little crooked. There. Okay, here we go. So I did get it all base coated in, and this is really a main lighthouse. I should really know the name of it, but I don't. And I'm going to be working in traditions. I do love traditions. I do. And I ask you to share the video. Yep, we have to share. Yep, we do. In these times, we have to always share. Sharing is a good thing. All right, being happy is a good thing, and that's what I've decided to focus on: being happy and sharing. Okay, so I did base coat it, and it's it's a medium color. It's a medium white, medium blue. You could also use, if you want to use Americana paints, you could use a winter blue. All right. So I didn't think you'd want me to show you, spend a lot of time base coating. So I went ahead and base coated it. And now I'm going to put in some clouds. And I'm going to use a medium white. Yeah, I'm going to get a new palette. And we're going to get a medium white. Even though I've base coated it, I'm going to go over the areas that I need to go over. And we'll just touch those areas up. But I won't spend a lot of time base coating, all right? And I don't worry about clouds. So I'm going to go in like this. I'm going to side load. If I go off camera, just let me know. I'm going to side load into medium white. All right, and I'm going to this is the water side of my brush. I'm going to hold the brush back here, and we're just going to put in some puffy clouds, okay? Right across here, and that's with a medium white, all right? All right, we need to have depth in the clouds, so we're going to bring in some stronger whites. Don't worry. All right. And I don't think we'll go in there that's so much. All right, there we go. See, I don't worry. And then we're going to bring in some warm white. All right. And I'm gonna side load again, side load my brush, blend it out on my palette. Let me see what I have in my hand. I have a 12. This is the water side of my brush, and I'm gonna go over, and but now I will have the ability to have some depth. All right. In the clouds. Now, when you put clouds in your sky, you don't want them to all be in the same place. And I'm not going to go to white because I don't want them to be important, all right? The lighthouse is the most important thing. There we go, and that's good, all right? And we have the clouds. Now, I did decide, because this piece is being done at dusk, all right? That's when this piece is, that's when the photograph was taken that I took. All right, so I decided to base coat in a medium gray. All right, and you can just mix medium white with some black and you'll get a medium gray. All right, you don't want it to be dark gray, you want it to be medium gray. And then this area up here is dark gray. So now I'm going to go back into my medium white, and I'm using an 8 flat. This is the water side of my brush, and the sun is setting from this side. So we're going to give this side right here a pretty strong highlight. All right, and we're going to come in and we're going to come down like this. I don't have enough water in my brush, so I'm just going to put some more water. There we go. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to come down in one stroke. Okay. And that's going to give it a nice highlight. I'm going to clean my brush off. No, I'm going to clean my brush off, and I'm just going to soften it out a little bit more. All right. And that's good. I'm going to dry it with my dryer. Now this is medium white, and I'm using an 8, and I'm going to do it again. All right, come down, water side of my brush, lay the brush nice and flat, walk it out just a little bit. Make sure I go all the way to the edge and come back down here. Okay. Now I'm going to side load, not a lot of paint on my brush. And on the bottom part of the cap of the lighthouse, I'm going to highlight this area that I base coated in dark gray. I'm going to highlight this side and highlight. Okay. There we go. A little bit more. I'm going to dry it. And I'm going to do it again. I have the tendency to not put on a tremendous amount of paint and repeat rather than end up having too much paint. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. That's good for now. Then we're going to go up here, and on the cap of the lighthouse, water side of my brush, I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to come down, and this is all being done with medium white. Okay. Making sure I go to my edge. There. Okay, that's good. Now, The next thing I'm going to do, is these houses down here. I am going to go ahead and base coat those in. I kind of forgot about them. All right, the roofs are done in my dark gray. Just this one has a roof. Okay, I don't know how that works, but that's the one that has the roof. The other one must have a deck on top. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to add some more medium white to this gray for the building. All right, and we're going to come down and we're going to get these buildings in. There we go. Got to make sure your pencil marks are gone away. Once you hit your pencil mark with water, it's permanent. Okay, you got to remember that when you've got a line drawing, which I always recommend. Your line drawing is your road map. There we go. All right, and those buildings are in. All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go in with warm white, okay, which is a step lighter. And the warm white is going to go, and I'm still using my 8. We want soft transitions from light to dark, soft transitions from color, and we're going to bring in a high highlight. Okay. And there we go. Next week, I'm going to be doing a program on Thankful Thursday in media paints. All right. I'm going to clean off my brush here, and I'm going to go like this and soften it out. I do not have a lot of water on my brush, and I'm going to let that dry. Okay. On this guy up here, I'm going to use a little less paint, a little less pressure, and I'm going to keep it right on the edge and give that a little bit of highlight. Okay. Now remember to hold on to your mixes. So if you need to touch it up, you just touch it up. There we go. It needed to be a little touched up, and right there. Yeah. Okay. It's looking good. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to work a little bit on the sky, and I'm going to put out some yellow oxide. All right. I don't want to use a super bright yellow. If you're working in Americana, you want to use like a true ochre. I don't know if they make that anymore. And I am going to palette blend this, which I don't always do. I'm going to take medium white. I'm going to take yellow oxide, just like that. And we're going to put a little bit of yellow in the sky, and I'm going to use a really big brush to do this. All right. This still has a pencil line. I'm going to see if it didn't get wet. And I'm going to try, before I do this, it did get wet. All right, that's all right. We're going to go in with our 8. And I'm just going to go in with some warm white. And I'm going to go over that pencil line. Just like that, because I really don't want the light. And I'm just softening it out. Going over those pencil lines that are on the edge, because I don't want to try to deal with that with the light. It has, yes, it has, Terry. It does. That's But shading and highlighting bring all the depth to the piece. All right, we're gonna bring in a little bit of light into the sky. All right, now I want you to see how far out I go on my palette. All right. So I'm going to take this yellow mix that I made and I'm going to really blend it out. So it's just a tint of color that I'm going to put in the sky on this side. All right, just a tint. All right. A tint of color. Just a tint. There we go. Now, I don't want it to be, there we go. And I'm going to bring a little bit over here. And in here, and in here. There's not a lot of color on my brush. Okay? Just a tint. There we go. Okay? Now, I'm going to let that dry. And the next thing I want to do is I want to bring in a little bit of foliage. All right? I am going to switch palettes. I do switch palettes a lot. I like to keep the colors clean. So I switch over on my palettes, and if I have to, I just split the palette. I can split it into 4s if I need to. All right. All right, so we're going to bring in some foliage because that's a good thing. I'm going to start with sap green, and I am going to add a touch of Prussian blue to it to make it even darker. So I'm going to make a couple of puddles here. All right, and you don't worry. I know we're mixing paint and people get nervous about that, but the most important thing that you do is that you be consistent in your own painting. So it doesn't matter that your colors are exactly like mine. It matters that your colors are consistent throughout your own painting. All right. And what I'm going to do is I forgot that brush. Here it is. Here's one. I'm going to take one of these. These are part of the Decorator series. And they're a bristle brush, which make great foliage. So I'm going to go in like this, and it's dry. And I'm going to start to bring in, not on the outer edges, but on the inside, I'm going to start to bring in some foliage. And I don't want polka dots, okay? Do not want polka dots, so I want to make sure that I carry it out a little bit. All right, here and there, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to go into sap green, straight sap green. No, that's pine green. Here's sap green. I'm going to go into straight sap green, dirty brush. And this is a little greener, and we're going to bring that up here. Okay. I am going to leave some of the sky through here and there. Okay. That's good. Then I'm going to go into pine green. All right. Dirty brush. And we'll go into pine green. All right, and we want it to be a little bit irregular. I am going to take my 8. Now I think I will take my 10. Well, I have one here. This is a 10. Okay, I'm going to fully load my 10 into pine green, and I'm going to soften everything out a little bit. Okay, I want the texture, but I also want a little bit of variation here. There we go. Leaving some of the inside to have the sky. There we go. And then I'm going to add a tiny bit of Hansa yellow to the pine green. There we go. Just tap, 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 tap. Tiny bit of Hansa yellow added to my pine green. And we're going to tap that in up in here. And down in here. Now you have to remember when you're working with values that they dry an entire value darker. Okay, there. Then I'm going to take this mix, this dark mix, and I'm going to come up, and there's a tree right here. I'm going to put that tree in, and we're just going to tap it in just like this with this dark mix. And that balances the thing off. And it was really, that's just what it did. And then we're going to go into pine green. This is behind that little building. And then some sap green, some pine green. So I went from the mix to sap green, and now I'm in pine green. I think I said that wrong for you. Sorry about that. There. There. And that's good. Now I want to show you one thing. This building got a little covered, so I'm just going to go back into my original mix and uncover it. Not to worry. You do want that building to show. And now I'm going to dry it. I'm going to dry it because I don't want to drag my hand through it all. Okay? Now I am going to put in the details. All right? And I'm going to put out carbon black. There we go. Load my brush. What is this? That's an odd. Let me see. I have one a little tiny bit smaller. That's an odd too. All right. All right, so we're gonna load our brush. Turn your brush like this. Turn your brush. Now, you're looking up at the lighthouse. You need to remember that, okay? You're looking up at the lighthouse. So that means that the curve, if you hold your glass up, your curve is going to come slightly up because you're looking up at the lighthouse. All right? And we're going to start to put in our detail. All right? This is a pretty thick line. So I didn't worry too much about the pressure. All right, the other thick line is right here. All right, and it's pretty thick. All right, comes around like that. Watch where you're going, not where you've been. It's a fact about life too. Watch where you're going, not where you've been. Okay, come in here, up. This is a longer line. It's going to need a little bit more wet in the brush. I am working on canvas. Watch where you're going, not where you've been. Okay, and that line's pretty thick. Okay, those are thick lines. All right, now the other thing is, see this pinky? It's right here. See how it is right here? That's bracing my hand. Okay. All right, and we're going to bring these lines down just like that. Okay. Now this upper ring, all right, and there's two rings in here, but I'm going to take artistic privilege. Hi, Maggie. I'm going to take artistic privilege on this, and I am only going to put in one more ring because I think that that's just going to be too busy for our painting. This is a pretty small canvas too. This is on a 7x5 canvas. All right, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna be very careful about not putting too much pressure on our brush. I'm gonna watch where I'm going, not where I've been. And I did do a little bit of a wiggle right there, and that's okay. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to come around the bend. Come around the bend. Okay. We're going to come up here. Around the bend. Yeah, I was painting with C strokes, and we went to this place right by this lighthouse for dinner and had lobster rolls. Okay, you ready? These go above that top rim. This is on the back, so we want to keep it on the back. And we're going to go above. Let me see. Oh, you can barely see them. Okay. And there's one here in the middle. There's one here. Okay. One here. We painted hydrangeas that weekend, and we painted a set of finches. Okay. Now that one was a little thick. While it's still wet, I am going to just thin that out just a smidgen. Okay. Just a smidgen. Yeah. Now, one of the things right down here, okay, that's not connected. That has to be connected. And come around the base. All right, and we're going to do the lower ones. All right. I love lobster too, Terry. Oh, it's one of those things. As my doctor has put me on a diet, I said, well, I'm not giving up lobster. It's amazing what doctors get away with when you get older. And we're gonna keep going here, down underneath. And those are lines that I'll take out after it dries. Okay, and then we're gonna come in here. Yeah, when I base coated, the lines went away, but after I thought about it, I thought it was really best that I do the base coating, that you didn't really want to watch me base coat. And then do this right in here. And then right here. Okay. All right. I am now going to go back to my other palette here. All right. And I'm going to put in a little tiny bit of yellow oxide, not the mix, straight yellow oxide on the side right up in here. Okay, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on my brush. Excuse me. Right down in here. And right down, whoop, too much paint. That's all right. Here we go. See that? Most important thing is that you're here to have fun, so we don't worry. Okay. There we go. And look at that. And I think that's good. I think I will, now that I look at it, I'm going to put a little tiny bit of high highlights. Just a few little high highlights. I'm going to put a little bit right here. I have to have enough water in my brush. I'm going to put a little bit right here. We're going to put a little bit right here. Okay, see that? A little bit more there. A little bit here. A little bit here. There we go. Isn't that sweet? Okay, so, and yes, hi Dynasty Brush. And I will have, you know what? The end of the month on Friday, we're on Online Market Spot, and I'll have a pattern packet for you. Okay. Next week, we're going to work with media paints, and we're going to use them like watercolor, except that you can fix media paints easier. And we're going to do it on watercolor paper, and we're going to do a crocus. I think it's right here. Here it is. So next week, this is going to be the inspiration. We're not doing all of these flowers, but we're going to I'm going to pick one or two of them, and we're going to do a lovely piece on watercolor paper. Okay? So Thankful Thursday. Next week, we are going to go on at 4. I think that that might be better for the whole country. Because, you know, I'm on the East Coast, so at 2 o'clock, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then somebody from Colorado told me that it was noontime. It was there. They were at lunch. They were having lunch. So I thought 4 would be better. Okay. So next week's at 4 o'clock, Thankful Thursday. And we're going to do a crocus on watercolor paper using media paints. All right. And yes, I use black golds. I love black golds. I use black golds in both oil and acrylic. Okay. I'm going to use a different brush next week when we use watercolor. It is called, it's put out by Dynasty, and it's, do I have one here? No. It's called Faux Kolinsky's, and they are marvelous for watercolor. All right. So I will see you next week, and share. I would really appreciate it, and have a great week.